Hi guys, I'm here with Miko Matsumura today. He's the founder of Evercoin and a big crypto fan as well. Is that right, Miko?
Absolutely. I'm all in.
Could you maybe tell us about your starts? How did you get involved with the this whole crypto world and the blockchain technology? And
Oh, it's been an incredible journey and not an incredibly long one yet in crypto. So I've been in Silicon Valley maybe 25 years or so, working almost entirely on open source software. So I got started with a very weird title, which is Chief Java Evangelist. So I was
okay,
working at Sun Microsystems, the creator of the Java programming language, and I really got passionate and excited about Java at the beginning of the internet in like 1994. And so I worked at Sun Microsystems. I've been working on startups, and I've been working on venture capital, but principally open source. So I've done just many smaller open source startups. So the thing that got me excited about cryptocurrency
uh,
is really this idea of open source money. So if you look at the title of Satoshi Nakamoto white paper, it's called Peer to Peer Open Source Money. And over the past 25 years, software has eaten the world, right? The software is
yeah,
eating the world, and
yeah,
open source has been eating software, right? So to me, what I see happening is that open source money will do the same thing to proprietary money, right? So what we're going to see is we're going to see, and it won't take 25 years. It will happen quite a bit faster.
yeah. Everything is moving so fast these days, especially with this crypto technology. It's uh, it's going fast. You're one of the main initiators of self-regulation in the U.S. as well. What are the issues and what are the obstacles that we have to overcome to get this thing regulated and get it up and running
Well,
like it's supposed to be?
honestly, I think the biggest thing is uh, sort of the way that cryptocurrency tends to attract two different kinds of people,
Okay.
right? So I think I guess I call it the high end and the low end. So on the high end, what you have is you have some of the best technical talent in the world. So
Yeah.
I'll point to some of the leaders. Like Vitalik Buterin, like incredible technical leader, but also like I would call like a moral leader, right? And someone who is very committed to open source, open systems, transparency. And when you think about what's underlying everything that we're seeing consensus algorithm, right? So consensus is
Huh?
about consent, and consent is about people agree, right? Everybody has to agree. So anything that's happening in crypto that is not about consent is really going against the idea of crypto, right? Which is, everyone has to agree. The idea that someone can like trick you or force you or to basically manipulate consent is truly anti-crypto. So for me, the biggest thing is actually transparency and disclosure. So when you look at the
Yeah.
design of the Bitcoin blockchain, every single wallet is readable. It's world readable, right? You can
Yeah.
see everything is super transparent, incredibly transparent, and the entire code base, every line is like world readable. It's forkable, right? So to me, like it's an incredibly transparent thing, right? But when you start to look at so-called ICOs, the ICOs themselves, the balance sheet, who owns the tokens, who's profiting, who's getting what discounts, like all of these things, the simplest things, which are who is getting paid by who, when, for what reason,
Yeah.
like all of these incredibly basic things of following the money trail, they're not being disclosed. So to me, the biggest issue in self-regulation, the biggest issue is disclosure, right? Which is transparency, because you cannot consent if you're not given the key information. And at the moment, when you think about regulation, the thing that the SEC in the United States, Securities and Exchange Commission, what they care about is capital formation
Yeah.
and investor protection. right? So the idea of investor protection, you can't protect people who are being tricked. So if there's a scam, then I think it's really important for everything to be very transparent, so that people know and they can actually volunteer. They can put their money towards something that they truly understand.
So you've been, as you said, you've been in the working in the Silicon Valley for over 25 years, and you've witnessed how the internet changed the world. So maybe would you say that maybe this what you just told us, this issue about agreeing, and is this the main issue why this revolution didn't take off that fast?
I, I believe that this is the linchpin. And the reason why I think it's incredibly important is that people are comparing this to the dot com bubble,
Okay.
right? And I have no problem with the word bubble. Like, I think it's
Yeah.
fine, right?
Yeah.
The thing about the dot com bubble is the dot com bubble reached about, like, it's on the order of magnitude of 10 trillion US dollars. Like, the size of it is very, very big, right? The size of this current bubble of cryptocurrency is still quite small. It's in the half trillion, 500 billion, less than, right? It's still very small compared to that, right? So what is the difference, right? The difference is the amount of structure that's available to make the energy go higher. So what I mean by the amount of structure is in .com we had public companies, we had IPOs, and this requires like huge amount of transparency. The average S1 filing for an IPO takes 973 hours to file.
Just
right?
to file.
This is to the Office of Management and Budget. So to me, amount of transparency, diligence, and structure enables the energy to go much higher, much, much more scrutiny. It's much harder and it's more expensive. Now, I don't want to make ICOs harder, expensive, but I believe that we really need to fix the transparency, and we need to have disclosure. And I think this is really the key to achieving the highest level of energy that we can attain in this market.
I think it's really good how you described the comparison with the .com, and how it's actually similar, but it's still different in a way. So we still have space to continue growing.
Oh, I think we absolutely do. To me, like, one of my biggest excitements is the way you describe internet of value. Like, that is so different, right? Which is the whole premise of the internet has been that I am sending you a copy of information, right? So if I send you something, I'm just sending you a copy, right? So in the internet of value, I'm really sending the value. And if you think about the impact of something like that, it is radically transformational, and it's more meaningful. So I think this internet of value wave should be 10 times bigger than the commercialization of the internet, just in terms of the total impact to the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree, Miko. If we move on, I would like to ask you about your advisor status. Your name is becoming like a trademark. You've been advising so many projects, and it seems like you just give projects some legitimacy. You push projects, help them to do better on their ICOs. Could you maybe just tell us a little bit about projects that you're advising on, and maybe to the people that wish to become advisors and also have knowledge how to maybe follow your footsteps? Or
Yeah, I think that there's a few. So if you're curious about my advisory business, you can just look on Miko.com. That's Miko.com.
yes.
You can see everything I'm working on. Again, I want to be very transparent about it. My advice with respect to advising is there's two pieces to it. Like, one of them is that you should definitely develop a certain taste, right? So to me, like, you need to kind of look at like what it is that you like. One of the reasons why I think it's very important to understand what you really like is people ask me, like, oh, do you have time for my project? right? Now, I do believe that there is a time is limited in life, but the thing that happens that I really care most about is enthusiasm. So if I'm enthusiastic about a project, I'm up at like 3 a.m. I'm like working away on the white
Yeah.
paper. I'm doing whatever it takes
Yeah.
because I'm so excited. And when I talk about a project that I'm excited about, like people also, hopefully get excited
It
because I'm just
energizes them.
really passionate. I'm like, wow, this is amazing, So I'm so
Yeah.
excited and passionate. So to me, if you are an advisor, like, don't if you're not excited about a project, then just
Don't.
stay away because it's truly not for you. It's for someone else, right? I think the thing that is super important though is um, just the business ethics, right? So to me, you need to really sit down and discuss with each person. The reason why is that every advisory client produces reputational risk, right? So if your advisory
Yeah.
client turns out to be a scam or does something terrible, like that's on you. Like as an advisor, you are standing in front of them and saying, I believe that if someone gives them money,
Mm-hmm.
that money will be safe and that it will be used well.
Exactly.
As an advisor, you can't guarantee profits, you can't guarantee success, but you can at least guarantee that the people are legitimate and that they're not thieves. So to me,
Yeah.
being very, very clear about business ethics, it's super important for everyone because your name can go down the hill very, very fast. If you have one bad scam ICO, your name is basically people should avoid all of your deals. So please be careful about that.
Yeah, of course. It's that's very good advice. And if I can just repeat that for everybody that's listening, it's Miko.com to see your advisor business and everything that you do. I would just like to ask you, how do you do it? Because there's so many projects that you've been advising on, and I really like the idea of energizing the team with the enthusiasm. And as you just said, you're not advising any project that you don't believe in as well. So I think that's very important what I got from your words. You have to.
Yeah, I mean, thank you very much. So as far as kind of how I do it, the thing that's important at some level is it's almost like adoption in the sense that like you really have to it really comes from the heart. So to me, it's really about caring about the people, and in a way it's more than just the people in the company or in the ICO. It's the people who are investing, so it all has to come from the heart, so really sincerity is key because ultimately that's what you have, so I think that's where it all flows from. So as far as how do I do it, it's passion, it's enthusiasm, it's sincerity. Like those are the things that matter because in a way, you have to be authentic. So I think
Yeah, that's very important. Yes,
what
of course.
it means that there are wonderful, successful deals and businesses that you have to walk away from just because it's not your deal.
It's not yours. Yeah. So actually, when you're picking the ICOs, when they're approaching you, if you could stand by the project and maybe advise them, you're looking at the team first, or are you looking at first at the idea of the project?
So to me, I have what I call no-fly zones, and so
Okay.
there are certain vertical segments that I generally don't go, mostly because I don't have special knowledge. So
Okay.
there are certain areas, healthcare, things like AR, VR, education, to some extent media. And to be perfectly honest, like there are rare cases where I'll even break my own thesis, right? So I'll even go to a no-fly zone, but I'll do so carefully. And the way that I get into a no-fly zone is that there's a person there that's my trusted friend who really knows the space. So if they really know healthcare and I trust them, then I might be able to go there. But to me, my best areas are I really like financial services. Not that I'm the world expert there, but I really believe that everything in the conventional fiat financial services will need to be rebuilt in crypto. So I truly believe that those will be amazing services. I like gaming because I really feel that gamers understand collecting points or things that they can use to buy. So I feel like gamers are for sure. The other one that I like is I like social sharing and sharing economy, gig economy. I like social. I'm a little bit not social media, but I like social sharing and social types of things. So those are the things that I really tend to like. And so for me, but the thing that is tip top is really team. And I like to say that there are 5 things that I like. One of them is like team, 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 team. The last one is, so I really care about the team.
Yeah, we
the last one,
4 out of 5.
Is called time to crypto economy, right? Which is, what is the amount of time it will take for the team to actually deploy a functioning crypto economy? Because if the team is like 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, never, like if it takes an incredibly long time, then it really, really is hard to see success. And to me, if a team has already delivered product, right, if the product is already delivering value, for example, if they have a fiat economy in a product, if they already have users, like all of these things are very, very helpful because all of those decrease the risk and they increase the opportunity for them to have a crypto economy.
Because they are already proving that they know what they're doing, and they're proving that they're gonna realize what bring to life their ideas. They're gonna follow the milestones.
So there's several ways you can assess. One is that the team already in the past, like maybe like 5 years ago or something, they built an incredible service and they had a huge success. So that's one way, right? The other way is to think about what they're doing now, right? So one thing you can look at is you can look at, like, for example, I advised PlayKey. So PlayKey already built a streaming service for gamers. They already had millions in revenue per month, so they have a fiat economy based on a pre-built product. And so the ability to convert that product into a crypto economy, so then you have to study, like, how are they planning to do it, right? And so, then you have to think about, well, is that a good plan? And their plan make perfect sense to me, which is that they can now decentralize the service so that the streaming cloud becomes decentralized and those people become miners and they start collecting PlayKey tokens. So to me, it's like, okay, it's a team that's already built product. They have a fiat economy. It's functioning and working. Gamers are using it. It's in a vertical that I like. So then the last bit becomes, the team, the business ethics, the trust. And then you become like, okay, that's a team that I can work with.
Yeah, they proved it in the past, and they have a plan for a good transition, and you believe in it. So yeah, I agree. That's great.
Yep.
So
the other thing that I liked is actually that team actually had a strong governance structure, which is that they actually had venture capital investors with a board of directors. So to me, it makes running away with the money very difficult because there's a bank account, there's venture capitalists, there's directors, there are fiduciaries. So there's already a strong trust infrastructure in place. So that to me, I liked it as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. So if we started with the issues with the regulation and the issues in this crypto world, I would like to finish off with the development part. Crypto world is moving really fast. There's a lot of development. Do you maybe feel about any development segment that is being underrepresented or people are not focusing attention on, not enough?
To me, I feel like this, which is my mindset I mentioned is what I call open source money. Now, I feel like there's a lot of emphasis on, and if you look at my advisory portfolio, for sure, I'm really doing a lot of application layer, right? So
Yeah.
I'm doing things that are very much high on the stack, right? So there's not necessarily as much opportunity, but I really feel like open source is a big thing. And one of the things that hasn't happened very much is the kind of cryptoization of, I would call them conventional open source, right? Because there's tremendous user base in open source, and there's a huge snowball of consent, right? So to me, if you think about consensus, you think about consent, right? Every single line of code in GitHub was written based on somebody's consent. The developer has consent. Every single user of open source has consent because they're voluntarily downloading. So to me, if you're looking for like a fountain of value in the crypto economy, there's probably $1 trillion of licensable software in GitHub, and it's all there for free. The way I look at this is I look at the past 25 years of open source as being like what I call solar energy, right? Which is
Okay.
that it's almost like slow and it's gentle, right? Because the consent, the people who are developing are not gaining huge profits. They're just gaining small profits because they're just donating their time to open source. It's been very slow, right? But what I see now happening in crypto is what I call like nuclear fusion, right? Which is what has happened in open source with open source money is now you have these powerful incentives to participate in open source, right? And so what's happened is that kind of solar power of open source that's taken like 25 years to kind of build, and it's built like incredible value. Like the entire software economy is on the foundation of open source. Right. So to me, the next phase that will be incredible to watch will be to see the entire foundation of the real economy resting on top of open source money.
Yes.
So I think that
Yes.
really open source is the underplayed concept, I think, in the development of the crypto world.
With that being said, we're actually just at the beginning.
Absolutely. I mean, the transformation of the global economy. And by the way, I don't see proprietary money going away, right? Proprietary software
Yeah, that's
did not go away. Proprietary software is still here, and it's still incredibly successful. Like proprietary software is still a wonderful, wonderful business creating incredible value. We're using software, to record this interview, and
exactly.
it's wonderful. So to me, fiat money and government monies, they never go away, right? But the platform becomes open source money. So that's what I think will happen as we see that happen. And I believe this is inevitable. And it's not because there is a fixed code base called Bitcoin. That's not the cause. What has happened is we have this seething mass of like forks and projects, and we have like Ethereum, and we have Cardano, we have Lisk, we have so many options, and each one, we have EOS, and each one is like evolving incredibly fast with incredible investment. And it's in a way like we don't know the winner, but what we do know is we know that we will all be winners. Like we know that the foundation is being built, and that's an amazing thing. So any complaint people have about any feature is just a function, I think, of the whole system evolving out of these problems. So if you don't like the electricity burning of Bitcoin, just wait. Just wait, because the open source developers with the incredible incentivization they'll fix lots of issues. So it's an incredible future we have.
That's Miko. I think that's a great way to finish this interview. I would like to thank you very much for taking your time, and I wish you a lot of success with your projects. Thank you.
Thank you very much.